Welcome to Retirement Decoded with your host, Scott Tucker, where we break down the complexities of retirement planning to give you clear, actionable advice. Whether you're just starting out or getting ready to retire, Scott's here to help you make informed decisions and secure your financial future. Tune in each week as we simplify the process and decode the path to a stress-free retirement. Now, here's your host, Scott Tucker.
And we're back. Welcome back to the Retirement Decoded podcast with Scott Tucker. I'm your host, Scott Tucker. Absent today on assignment is Associate Advisor Andre Hootie. Andre Hootie apparently doesn't like getting up Mondays at 5 a.m. for the podcast. Max, it's just the two of us. So Associate Advisor Max Wren, say hello, Max Wren.
Hello, Max Wren.
So Max Wren, today our question comes from Amy. And I should say we're in Chicago, but you don't have to be. We're federally licensed. We can help folks all across the fruited plain. And so long as you're an American or you have a green card or whatnot, I guess. Yep. But if you're an American anywhere in the United States or its territories, we can help. So go to tuckerretirement.com, click and pick a time on our phone calendar. We'll talk to you 15 minutes for free in the coming week with one of our financial planners. We'll get your questions answered today and your answers questioned. So today, Max's question comes from Amy. Amy says, Max, that sounds like a pun now. Amy says, Max, I'm maxed out. Not maxed out of Max, is she?
Oh, I hope not.
Oh, no, too much Max?
Never be.
No such thing. So Amy says, Max, I'm maxed out with my employer's sponsored 401k. And so I think I'm going to say that Amy, if she didn't say Roth, she means traditional 401k. So that's the whole deal right there.
Yep.
So Amy says, Max, I'm maxed out with my employer-sponsored traditional 401k. I'm also maxed out on my catch-up contributions. So when she says catch-up contributions, Max, what does she mean?
So, I think she's doing her contributions when she's over 50. She can add a little more. Yeah. I think.
That's what she means. I think so. I'm just going to say that's correct. So Amy says, Max, I'm also maxed out on my catch-up contributions, my traditional 401k. So that means that Amy has attained age 50 in this tax year.
Yep.
Or in a past tax year.
Right.
So there's a thing that people get into a lot. They say, hey, when I turn 50, say if I turn 50 in the middle of the year, is that the year that I can do my catch-ups? And it is, yes, you can. They're not like prorated. So the year that you attain age 50, that tax year, you can just go crazy and do the catch-ups.
Go crazy.
And Amy says, Max, can I also max out my IRA with pre-tax dollars? Max, what are you thinking about all this traditional pre-tax talk?
I think she's in for a big surprise when she has to start paying those taxes. So.
Yeah. So let's pick Amy apart a little bit. Poor thing. So she says, Max, I'm maxed out with my employer-sponsored traditional 401k. Mm-hmm. Now, Max, what would we like for her employer to offer her instead of just a traditional 401k?
Well, if they're a nice employer, they'll have a Roth 401k option.
Yeah, that's what we do at the company, don't we? At Scott Tucker Solutions, Inc. And so, and the reason why is because we're financial planners, so we know how important a difference it could make potentially. Your mileage may vary. So, Amy, when you max out your traditional 401k at work, a better thing for us to think about, and I don't want to give blanket advice, but this is pretty darn near lock, stock, and barrel here. If you have a traditional 401k at work, ask them, do I have a Roth option for new money? I'm not talking about Roth converting what you have, because a Roth conversion has a lot of tax-related consequences to it, so we're not recommending that. What I am saying is, Amy, you ought to ask if you have a Roth option for new money, meaning that you could pay today's historically low federal income taxes, get the money into a tax-free account that grows tax-free, like a Roth 401k. Now, the employer match, Amy didn't say if she has an employer match.
I hope they do.
So our employer match, and this is the way it's going to be everywhere, your employer match is always going to go on the traditional side. So even if you put your new money each pay period on the Roth side, if you have a Roth option for new money, Amy, your employer match is going to go to the traditional side. We can clean it up later with a Roth conversion and things. But I'd rather not have you saving money tax deferred if we could save it where we pay the tax now and grow it tax-free. Because, Max, we want to pay tax on the seed, not on the harvest.
Right.
And Amy said, Max, I'm also maxed out on my catch-up contributions for being age 50 or older. Mm-hmm. So she's already maxed out on her catch-up contributions. But again, Amy, we want to see if we can max everything out on Roth. The employer match will be on the traditional side. We'll clean that up later with a Roth conversion potentially, although a Roth conversion, there's a lot to consider there. So we'll talk about it. By the way, Amy, if you want to talk, just get on our phone calendar at tuckerretirement.com. At tuckerretirement.com, you see our phone calendar. Click and pick a time. We'll talk to you for free. 15 minutes in the coming week over the telephone with one of our financial planners. Amy says, Max, can I also max out a traditional IRA with pre-tax dollars at home? So you see what she's saying. She's saying at work I have this one plan, and then can I do the traditional 401k at work and then go home and do the traditional IRA? Mm-hmm. So again, Max, we have to say
the Roth instead.
Yeah. Let's say Amy's a real high earner and she says, but I can't qualify. My voice goes high, Max. So let's say Amy's a real high earner. She says, but Max, when I go home, so we're going to separate kind of the work plan from your own plan. So she has the employer plan at work, the traditional 401k. We'd rather do Roth on the new contributions and then get the match on traditional. We can check that out later with the Roth conversion potentially. But when Amy goes home, she says, Max, can I also max out a traditional IRA at home with pre-tax dollars? And again, a better option we think would be to contribute to Roth IRA at home. But what if she says, I'm too highfalutin and fancy, I make too much money? Is there any kind of like a backdoor option around that?
Oh, you just hit the nail on the head. Backdoor Roth conversion.
That was a layup, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah.
You fed me up. You teed me up.
Yep. So Amy, what you could do at home, and you could do this regardless of your income, because I do it every year. I make too much to do the Roth IRA at home. So at home, so to speak, I do a traditional IRA, and I may or may not be able to tax deduct those dollars. Don't get hung up on that. But I can jam pack all this money into the traditional IRA at home. Then I can do a backdoor, what they call a backdoor Roth, where I can convert it a day later to Roth, pay the income tax to the federales, and then grow the money tax-free the rest of my life. And also, a thing to think about down the way, if you're just growing a bunch of money in these traditional accounts, traditional 401k, and traditional IRA, there are a bunch of others, 403B, TSP, 457, deferred comp. If you just keep deferring these taxes and you just keep growing this pot of money bigger and bigger and bigger, you are really the chief investment officer for the Internal Revenue Service.
Hey, if you love the IRS, it's a great strategy.
If you love the IRS, clap your hands. There's no clapping in here, is there, Max?
No, not here.
Yeah. So, and you notice I didn't say Internal Revenue Service. I said Eternal Revenue Service.
I did not catch that.
It's very subtle. So they call that neuro-linguistic programming.
Yep.
Yeah, Eternal Revenue Service. So, Amy, I know, Max, here's what people say all the time, but Max, when I retire, I'm going to be in a lower tax bracket.
It's never the case.
Well, it could be the case. It's rarely the case.
Yeah, I mean, if it is the case, maybe there's not much we can help there. So.
Well, when it is the case, either you didn't save anything for retirement. I don't think that's Amy's game here. But when it is the case that you'll be in a lower tax bracket in retirement, it's because you either saved nothing, or how you could be in a lower tax bracket in retirement typically is you have everything in Roth.
Yeah.
Those are kind of the two things.
Yeah.
So we'd prefer, Amy, that you save a lot and have it all in Roth, and then you could be in a lower tax bracket. But this whole idea that you're going to kick the can with your tax deferred accounts, with your 401k, with your IRA, and that you're somehow winning, you're just growing a great big pot of money for the IRS. You are the Internal Revenue Service's chief investment officer.
Yep, and that's what they want. They want you to just be complacent and just do the average plan everyone else is doing. So don't let them win.
That is a thing, and I don't want to demonize our friends who work for the IRS. We have federal employees that we help with their retirement. They're good people, and they got a hard job, and everybody makes fun of them. But our friends who are in Washington, friends ?
Yep.
Now, a lot of folks, all the tax bills have to start in the House of Representatives, but our House members aren't really the folks who craft the tax code. So one of the Ivy League schools, Cornell, what they do is they have a whole bunch of folks where they craft the future revenue bills sort of thing. So they have in Washington, it used to be on a real shelf. Now it's just said to be a shelf. They'll have these future tax bills or these revenue enhancers. They have them. They say they'd be on the shelf. So whenever the politicians figure out we need more revenue, they take this tax code off the shelf, stuff that was written 10, 20 years ago. Here's a way, and it was written at Cornell typically, and here's a way we could raise revenue if we need it. And so they have this legislation on the shelf. When they need it, they get off a shelf, so to speak. They used to have a physical shelf of this. Nowadays, they just go and, I don't know, Microsoft Word, question mark. They just go into Microsoft Word, and they stitch the bill together. And then, the speaker calls the bill. The speaker doesn't call the bill before the whip whips the votes. You have to have the number 2 person there that, they got to have them go whip the votes to make sure they have the votes. Then the speaker doesn't have the bill fail, and the speaker looks like a knucklehead. Because that's why they, you ever wonder, I'm like, when are they going to call this bill? They're going to call the bill when they have the votes.
Right. They don't want to lose.
If they don't have the votes, they're going to bottle it up in committee. They're going to not call the bill to the floor, that sort of thing. Nobody wants to, go out there and face plant, right?
No.
So, Amy, where I was going with all that, that's a heck of a story. I'm just a bill. Where I'm going with all of that is the Internal Revenue Code is, sure, it starts in the House, and then the House has to pass the bill, then the Senate has to pass the bill. Sometimes it has to go to conference committee so they can compromise, because the House version is one thing, the Senate version is another thing, and then it goes to the president for their signature. The Internal Revenue Code was always set up for the government to have plenty of income, and it's not set up for you to have a tax-free retirement. And so what we've had happen now, I should say, like, monthly pensions are taxed federally every month for the rest of your life. But we've had happen that we've realized these last however many years, as IRAs, 401ks, and as employment, we got away from monthly pensions. We got more and more to where your IRA, your 401k, your deferred comp, your 403b, your TSP, where retirement is your responsibility now. Your SEP IRA, we have a lot of self-employed people we help. Retirement has to be your responsibility now. And if you're not paying attention and you fall for the thing that you'll be in a lower tax bracket, which we're not seeing with folks who have tax deferred accounts, we're just not seeing it. We run these projections into the future. Then the government, our friends who are in Washington, they're plenty happy for you to just snooze, fall asleep at the wheel, grow your tax deferred account really large. And the thing that's crazy, Max, we have some projections. We have a thing in the future called the budget showdown.
Yep.
We know federal tax rates will be higher in 2028 than they are today because of the budget showdown. There's a lot of reasons why tax rates have to go higher. The federal debt being so high, also another reason why future federal tax rates have to go higher. The federal government is plenty happy for you to grow a tax deferred account as large as possible, fall for the lower taxes in the future thing, and then just get socked later on. And then that's part of how they plan on. They're never really going to budget balance the budget.
No,
but they know they have these revenue enhancers, and Max, that can be your traditional 401k and your IRA.
Hey, if you love IRS, do it.
Yeah, if you love the IRS, clap your hands. So, Amy, you could be part of the grand conspiracy in Washington. It could be that our friends who are in Washington are counting on you to be the chief investment officer for the Internal Revenue Service, for the U.S. Treasury.
Yeah,
Max. Now, Amy might say, but Scott, Max, if you guys potentially save me so much in federal income taxes, I might feel guilty in retirement. Say if I got to a low amount of federal income taxes in retirement, or if I even get to where I paid no federal income taxes in retirement, I might feel guilty.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. You love your country and everything.
So, Amy, if you feel too guilty, what you can do, you can write a donation a check to the U.S. Treasury. Every year, Max, somebody writes, there's just more than just one. Folks feel guilty about how well they've done, how little taxes they pay, so they write like a $100,000 check to the U.S. Treasury.
Oh, I do it all the time.
Every year you do that, don't you,
Every
Max?
month, every week.
No, people are like, well, you know what? The government, they're well known for handling money, and they need more of it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel
take
bad.
Down the deficit myself. So
this is like when you got your 40-year-old kid that lives in your basement and won't work, and you give him $20. Well, how about you? Not only do you change the locks and padlock the refrigerator, change the locks, kick them out, but why are you giving your kid $20 who doesn't work?
Oh yeah, they're just gonna buy a pizza or something.
That's like writing a check for $100,000 U.S. Treasury.
Exactly the same.
Yeah, they're just gonna waste on nonsense, and so all that. So, Amy, what we would really like to see is that you save into the Roth 401k if you have one. I'm not telling you to go out and Roth convert your existing 401k. Get on our phone calendar at tuckerretirement.com. We'll see about what other stuff you have going on here. And then and then your match will be on the traditional side. And then at home, if you would, I would recommend that you do a Roth IRA. And if you can't do that, you could do a traditional IRA and Roth converted a day later. Be careful if she's 50. If you do a Roth conversion, whether you do it say in your plan to me at work at your 401k may or may not allow Roth conversions inside the plan. A lot of plans do not allow the conversion part. That's different than the new money going to Roth, but the existing money is in traditional. Your plan may not even allow you to do a Roth conversion. If you do a Roth conversion, though, if you're not 59 and a half, be careful that you do not do the federal withholding from the traditional because you'll get a 10% penalty for doing that.
Yep, that catches a lot of people off guard.
Yep. Now, to make this even crazier, Amy, if you are still on the job, as you are, and you've attained age 59 and a half, most plans will allow you to roll your traditional 401k to a traditional IRA, get broader and potentially better investment choices, and we might want to look at doing Roth conversions there. Doing Roth conversions from an IRA to a Roth IRA, a heck of a lot easier than doing it within an employer plan.
Always, yeah. Those employer plans are not really your best friend. So
the employer plans are really designed for young people to recruit the young people to the company. Like Max, you're younger than me, and what did we do to recruit you? We said we've got a Roth 401k with a 6% employer match.
You don't see a 6% too much.
Pretty generous, huh, Max?
Very, very generous.
Tell you, between that and the free sandwiches,
that's
spoiled.
why I'm here.
Yeah. That's why I'm here. Free sandwiches, Max?
Yeah, that's all you get. All it takes.
That's closing the deal.
I don't need a paycheck.
Oh, wait. There we go. Or maybe the Chicago minimum wage. Maybe we'll scale it back to the Chicago minimum wage.
Hey, why not?
It's getting to where when we have an intern, like we had a high school kid, and sometimes we have kids from University of Iowa or University of Illinois, whatever. And even like the high school kids now with the Chicago minimum wage, even the youth minimum wage, it's like you got to pay them like $30,000 a year to intern when they're in high school.
Oh my gosh!
We had one that he was terrific, but he just got his driver's license, didn't have a car, and he was here for a short time for a summer. He was a client's grandson. And so we didn't even get to where we had to give him a computer because then he's an access person, and you can't really make a 16-year-old an access person because our registered investment advisor, compliance officer doesn't like that.
They'd have a nightmare trying to figure that out.
So we're like, here, you just help us with our workshops, get folks a cup of coffee, and just teach them what we do and how we do it and stuff. That was
intern
fun.
stuff,
Yeah, we had him on. We'd have him on our weekend radio show on Sundays.
That's fun.
That was cool. He actually preceded the podcast. We didn't have the podcast yet, so that was neat. So Amy, we'd really like you to save it in the Roth options, and we told you so many things. I know it's crazy. If you're still on the job, if you reach 59 and a half, you might want to talk to us about rolling your traditional 401k to a traditional IRA, and then we could talk about, as a separate thing, we could talk about perhaps potentially Roth conversions, pay federal income tax at today's historically low rates. If you're a resident of Illinois, you can currently do the Roth conversions and pay Illinois nothing. Same for if you're in a state where Illinois doesn't tax retirement accounts. That's where that comes in. Now, if you're a Wisconsin resident, you live north of the Cheddar Curtain, you're root for the wrong football team. When you do Roth conversions in Wisconsin, you do have to pay state income tax to Wisconsin as high as 7.65%. Max, we're also helping a Missouri client right now.
We are, yeah.
With the Roth conversions. In his case, they make sense. And he's saving on the federal income tax at today's historically low rates versus what they'll be in the future. But he's having to pay Missouri state income tax on his Roth conversions, and that could be, in this case, about 4.8%.
Yeah, and that's why you come and talk to us before you do something like that. So
what's crazy too is a couple years ago he should have come and see us because he was an Illinois resident at one point. Had we done Roth conversions as an Illinois resident, he would pay to Illinois nothing, and then he would move to Missouri with Roths, and Missouri wouldn't be able to tax him on his distributions.
Yeah, it's 5% back in your pocket.
There you go, 4.8%.
4.8.
Yeah, in his case. So Max, there's so much to this.
There's layers.
It's like people listen to this each Monday morning or sometime during the week, and they've got to feel like after they listen to all this nonsense, they got to feel like they have an ice cream headache.
Yeah, that's one.
That's how we get folks to hire us as their financial planners, or at least talk to us at tuckerretirement.com on our phone calendar. Make it so complex.
Yep.
Actually, we didn't make it complex. We actually make it simple.
As simple as we can.
It's simpler when you're hearing all these hypotheticals about Amy's situation. It's simpler when we actually just help you do your stuff and we do the grunt work for you.
Yeah.
And we're just in. It's like when I go get my truck worked on. the guy's like, oh, the flux capacitor. And I'm like, I don't know. Like, you just fix it?
You're not plugging everything in the Chat GPT and having Chat GPT fix it for you?
Yeah, it's like I know enough about auto mechanics to know I don't want to do it. And but they can be, some things can be so complicated with retirement planning, and we know how to handle them. Something else we're doing for somebody right now, just a quick thing too. In Illinois, we have a client who's in her 90s, and there's been insufficient tax planning performed, and her son's helping us help her get this all straightened out. Mm-hmm. So she has 5 kids. The youngest of her kids is her son.
Yep.
And she has, her estate right now is $3.8 million, and it's probably pretty quickly going to get to $4 million and above. In Illinois, the minute you hit that $4 millionth dollar, Illinois has an estate tax. It has a waterfall tax. It goes back to $1. It taxes your estate up to 16%. And there's a way to avoid that potentially, so it's different for everybody. We are working with an attorney right now, an estate planning attorney on this. There's about $900,000 we identified that we can move from her. She has we'll say a trust account at Schwab in a revocable trust, and this is not specific advice, and we're not attorneys, and don't try this at home, and all those other disclaimers. But about $900,000, that's what we call high cost basis. We can move that over to an irrevocable trust, mm-hmm. also in a Schwab trust account, but an irrevocable trust. And then that money is now off the grid for her $3.8 million estate. Now will appear to be $2.9 million. And she'll have more room to stay away from that $4 million Illinois estate tax exclusion, and looking like it's going to save her estate about $400,000. That's $400,000 more she can leave to her 5 kids instead of sending it to Springfield, Illinois.
Right. Win-win.
Yep. And then what's cool too is if it's 5 years from now that she needs say long-term care, that irrevocable trust, that money cannot be considered. They can't claw that money back for Medicaid for long-term care. Mm-hmm. Also, if she ever needs money, it's a grantor trust, irrevocable grantor trust. If she ever needs money, she can borrow from the trust. And also, there can be changes made in the investments within the trust as well.
Yeah, it's just a complete win for her.
Yeah. So if you have an estate, and we help clients all across the country. It doesn't have to be Illinois, for these estate tax issues. I know Massachusetts, there's a heck of a deal over there with even lower exclusion. If you'd like to talk to us about estate tax planning, whether it's state or federal, the federales limit is higher than it is for Illinois right now. But if you want to deal with that or your state, we can help you with that too, potentially. So go to tuckerretirement.com, get in our phone calendar at tuckerretirement.com. We'll talk about it, see what's what and who's who. So, Max, you have fun on today's podcast?
Had a blast.
Did we thoroughly confuse everybody?
I think we questioned a lot of people's answers a little too hard. But that's what we do here. So.
Yeah, we're here to help, tuckerretirement.com. Well, it's been fun, and it's been real, and it's been real fun. We'll talk to you on the next episode.
Scott Tucker Solutions, Inc. has a strategic partnership with tax professionals and attorneys who can provide tax and or legal advice. Neither the firm nor its agents or representatives may give tax or legal advice. Individuals should consult with a qualified professional for guidance before making any purchasing decisions. A Roth conversion is a taxable event and may have several tax-related consequences. Be sure to consult with a qualified tax advisor before making any decisions regarding your IRA. The views and opinions herein are those of Scott Tucker Solutions, Inc. and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of AE Wealth Management, LLC. Investment advisory services made available through AE Wealth Management, LLC. AEWM and Scott Tucker Solutions, Inc. are not affiliated companies. Insurance products are offered through the insurance business Scott Tucker Solutions, Inc. Scott Tucker Solutions, Inc. is an investment advisory practice that offers products and services through AE Wealth Management, LLC, a registered investment advisor. AEWM does not offer insurance products. The insurance products offered by Scott Tucker Solutions, Inc. are not subject to investment advisor requirements. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Any references to protection, safety, or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investments. Insurance guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing carrier. This podcast is intended for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as the sole basis for financial decisions, nor should it be construed as advice designed to meet the particular needs of an individual's situation. Scott Tucker Solutions, Inc. is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during this podcast shall constitute tax or legal advice. Our firm is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any governmental agency. The information and opinions contained herein provided by third parties have been obtained from sources believed to be reliable, but accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed by Scott Tucker Solutions, Inc.